Good day. I'm here. Hey, Gabriel here with the Icon Capture GPS Intelligence Brief for May 15th, 2026. All right, government affairs directors and influence practitioners, we need to talk because this is one of those boards where if you only look at the opportunity count, you are going to misread the market. Here's what I want to do with you today. I want to walk through the new opportunity flow, the legislative and executive movement, the regulatory and court signals, and then bottom line what this means if you're actually managing a portfolio right now and trying to decide where to lean in, where to stay patient, and where you may be kidding yourself. Before we start, this is the last brief before this terrain window narrows. 0 seats left in the GPS displacement window review. 0 opportunities. Competitive displacement windows this week. That signal is what opened this session, and it will not repeat the same way tomorrow. Code GPS 100 at the-icon.ai capture. Now, let's read the board. So let's get right to the facts. Over the last 168 hours, GPS surfaced. 0 new opportunities posted on SAM.gov. 3594 legislative signals, 0 federal hiring signals across 0 agencies, 24 C-SPAN captures, and all of that is happening while market BCL is 0%, with 0 agencies stalled under the continuing resolution. In our current 168-hour window, the opportunity flow is notably absent, with 0 opportunities surfacing on the radar. As government affairs directors and influence practitioners know, this isn't just about raw volume, it's about the accessibility and utility of the opportunities that do appear. The fact that we have 3,594 legislative signals but no conversion into actionable opportunities highlights a critical friction point in compliance and regulatory pathways. This is where the capture terminal becomes invaluable, enabling us to dissect the board and read between the lines of legislative activity. The absence of top ops and a blank BCL, budget constraint list percentage, emphasize a potential disconnect between the flood of legislative signals and tangible targets for action. Managers who read this tape know that high volume without clarity can lead to decision paralysis, a state where the sheer mass of data obscures actionable insights. The capture ticker shows us a landscape heavily laden with legislative activity but devoid of executive or court-driven movements, suggesting a bottleneck where policy intent isn't translating into agency or judicial action. Accessibility in this context isn't just about having the data, it's about cutting through the noise to identify where compliance friction might turn into protest risk. The lack of conversion from signals to opportunities could be an early warning of lane changes ahead, where strategy needs to pivot or adapt to a landscape that's currently static but pregnant with potential shifts. Turning to secondary signals, the absence of terrain holes and hiring spreads suggests a market in stasis, rather than one undergoing dynamic change. 0 hiring and lobbying activity further emphasize a period of pause, where players may be recalibrating their strategies in anticipation of future shifts. For influence professionals, this could indicate a market mispricing, where the lack of current activity might lead to undervaluation of sectors poised for future movement once the legislative bottleneck clears. Court opinions, or the lack thereof, add another layer to this quiet landscape. Without judicial guidance or intervention, the market remains in a holding pattern. This often signals to savvy practitioners that we're in a pre-action phase, a time when strategic positioning and portfolio adjustments can be made before the next wave of activity breaks. The absence of lobbying clusters during this window is particularly telling. It suggests either a strategic withdrawal to reassess positioning or a tactical delay to align with upcoming legislative or regulatory developments. For those reading the policy tape, this quiet period is an opportunity to anticipate where influence efforts can be most effectively applied once the current regulatory and compliance dynamics shift, opening new lanes for action. The current market is characterized by regulatory and court signal volatility, creating compliance friction and protest risk with frequent lane changes. Government affairs and influence professionals should be asking, how can we anticipate regulatory shifts to maintain compliance without stalling progress? What strategies can we employ to mitigate protest risk while advancing stakeholder interests? How can we leverage current policy velocity to optimize our positioning in a rapidly changing environment? In this landscape, maintaining agility and foresight is crucial to navigate the complexities of policy fluctuations while securing stakeholder alignment. Last thing before I sign off, and I want to be direct. 0 seats left in the GPS Displacement Window review. When this window closes, the terrain that justified it moves on. Tomorrow's signal will be different. The next session will read a different board. If the brief we just walked through gave you a reason to act, now is the time. Code GPS 100, communities.theicon.ai/capture the-govcon-elite. 4.6 million records, 4 verticals ready. Provenance traced from bill to award, like and subscribe if you're managing a federal grant. Research, GovCon, or commercial portfolio, I drop a new GPS brief every weekday. All links, terminal preview, Shipley sessions, live cohort calendar, and the full brief are at communities.theicon.ai/capture/the-govcon-elite. Register free, and it's all there. This is Gabriel. I'll see you tomorrow. Before you go, just a quick reminder that you'll be disconnected